What's up, Grappler fans? I've got some exciting news. As y'all know, the old work truck over here ain't the prettiest thing ever, and making content for it's fun, but it's really not my typical stuff being a 6.7 Powerstroke guy. Now, the only 6.7 I have is cut up into a go-kart in the backyard right now. But I at least want to put some Nittos on this thing, and I just got a set. Now, this could get a little complicated because this is a different size than I was expecting. I'll explain that more later, but do y'all want to see these tires? It's a brand new tire I just came out with, and this actual size is a unicorn because if you look at Nitto's website, they don't even offer it. I asked about this size and they said they didn't have them, and here they are, they showed up. So somehow I got one of the first sets of this size tire for this size wheel. Check it out. These are 37-inch Nitto Recon Grapplers, and they're for an 18-inch wheel. And right now on their website they only say they make tires in the Recon Grappler for 20-inch and 22-inch. So somehow I ended up with this setup. I guess the website's just a little bit behind. Let me get some down, we'll take a closer look at them, and I'll explain more what's going on. Oh, these things are freaking massive. Wanted to give y'all first impressions as soon as I got them. So this is the newest tire from Nitto. It's an all-terrain, but it's super aggressive, very similar to the Ridge Grappler, which is like a hybrid tire. Might not be able to see that in the lighting here. It's on my wife's car, and this is just a 285/70/17. It's like a 32. And we do have the less common sidewall out on this one. So normally you're used to seeing the more rounded lugs on the Ridge Grappler, but that's the sidewall she liked better. And just like the Ridge Grapplers, these have two different sides as well. I decided to move this show to the backyard for the shade of these pine trees because it is just too hot out here right now. And I'm so excited about these, I'm running around sweating. These Recon Grapplers look so sick. Now, let's take a closer look at them. You can see this is the main sidewall that I've seen on these. They do have two different sidewalls. It's slightly different on each side. That's a common Nitto thing. For comparison, these mud grapplers, on one side you have the skin look, and on the other side it's smooth, and that's kind of the reptilian style they're going for. It's like a, you know, dinosaur themed thing, kind of prehistoric, just gnarly old tires. But Nitto loves to have two different sidewalls, so you get a little bit of option. And I'm not sure which one I like better on this Recon Grappler. Y'all take a look. We'll do this one as number 1. Get a good look at the sidewall on these. And then the other one is number 2. And y'all let me know in the comments which side you would run on the outside if you are going to get a set of these. I'm not really sure which side I like better yet. So as I mentioned, these are 37s for an 18. It's a 12.5-inch wide tire, so 37, 12, 50, 18. I was planning on getting Ridge Grapplers for this project. We talked to Nitto. As some of y'all know, Grappaholics is like really based on Nitto tires, so all I do on my channel and my Instagram for Grappaholics is Nitto related. So I talked to Nitto about this project because obviously I'm doing the 6.7 Powerstroke swap deal with the old truck that's sitting over there getting rusty until my shop's built. Oh, there she is. And I'm kind of in between content right now. The old Dodge is going to get a set of tires, but it's not really my typical content, and I wanted to do something for y'all that is relatable. A very simple working man's, just nice 6.7 Powerstroke. So I have a buddy in the area that I actually haven't seen in a long time, old friends from the Carolinas, and we're gonna get his truck looking right on some 37s. Now he has 18-inch wheels. He didn't want to go out and buy new wheels just for the tires, and the Recon Grapplers are not available in 18-inch wheels. If you look on their website, they say 0 sizes. So even though we really wanted the Recon Grapplers, they weren't available in the size that we needed, so we opted to go with Ridge Grapplers. Well, here we are like 2 weeks later, and a set of Recon Grapplers shows up. We're super excited, but it was a little bit of a surprise when the truck showed up and it was Recon Grapplers. My buddy should be here any minute to get started on his leveling kit to fit these tires. But first, let's take a look at the tread pattern on these things, because it looks really sharp in person and it's a lot deeper than I was expecting. So coming at it at an angle, you can kind of see how the sidewall kind of blends into the tread and how that transition goes. Looks really cool how this is like step down like this, and very big blocky, you know, tread pattern here. Looks really tough, but I do think it is a little bit closer together than the Ridge Grapplers, so that should make these things nice and quiet because you don't have the big spaced out tread like the mud grapplers, which everybody knows these are loud. I don't really mind that about them, but the thing nowadays seems to be who can have the most aggressive quiet tire, and everybody just loves a quiet tire except for me. I guess I'm crazy, but these ought to be some of the quietest, tough looking tires out there. You still get the sweet looking sidewall and, you know, a really quiet, smooth ride. So we're going to see that for ourselves here soon when we get these mounted up. I think it's really neat, these little indentions that are here where the tread kind of continues into the next block. I've never really seen anything exactly like that. And you can see nice siping here to help these things clear water, and just a really cool tread pattern. It's, you know, nice and chunky, but somehow they make this thing still quiet. So we're going to take a look at the other sidewall here, how it kind of transitions, and very similar. It looks like this is a slightly different angle, right? They have that, yeah. So you have slightly different transition too on the sidewall. This one is, let's see, this is still back to number 1. It's looking cool. I like the options here, and you see I already got some grass in these things. We're taking them off road right from the get-go. This is a sweet tire, and I don't think it's gonna get you stuck in wet grass like some of these all-terrains can do. I think that's enough said for first impressions. Obviously, I'm excited about these tires, and we can't wait to get them mounted up. So we're actually gonna go get started on his leveling kit right now, and as soon as we get that done, we're gonna go get them mounted up, see how they do on the road. Thanks, dude. How's it going, man?
Good, man. They're fucking good.
Well, they're not Ridge Grapplers.
Look kind of similar to them, though.
Yeah, they really do look pretty similar on the
same, yeah, the mid and
the middle. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely do.
So you're gonna have a choice to make which sidewall you want to put out, because they got 2 different sidewalls. So do the Ridge Grapplers, but whichever side you like better. Luckily we got it in the garage before the rain started. I can't wait to get the shop built, because having the truck halfway out in the rain is no good. But we got the front end jacked up after a little bit of back and forth with some wood and some jack stands that are questionable. But we're going to get this leveling kit installed here. I'll go ahead and show you what it looks like. He went with a 2.5-inch spacer kit. A lot of companies make these. This one's a Moto Fab one, but it's literally just a 2.5-inch piece of metal that's going to go underneath the factory coil mount. And so some of these spacers you'll see will go up top, which is fine too. Just depends on how the company wants to do it. We've got the axle fully drooped all the way to the ground now with the truck on jack stands. And you can see we got the coil spring out already, and that spacer is going to go right in under here. So I'll show you. It's 18 millimeter to get that guy out, and then this will be sitting underneath there. I got to make sure which way they want it, and it has a longer bolt. So super simple leveling kit. Doesn't have any extra pieces or anything. We'll talk more about what are the pros and cons of such a simple kit, but let's go ahead and get this thing out of here if it'll come. There's a little bit of rust under here. This truck was up north for a while. See how it'll do. Chrome sockets on the impact, that's always exciting too. All right, not doing too bad there. You can see got that little space there. All right, so here is our old bolt factory, and then I'll get them both in my hand for comparison. The longer one, so that gives us the room for this spacer to go here. And again, I'm going to double check which way is right side up with this thing, and I will reinstall this, and hopefully our coil spring, get this thing sitting on its own weight again, and put some proper tires on it. So we just confirmed chamfered side down, which is the little beveled edge there. That's going to go down, and we'll get that more or less lined up. Set this piece on top, and then we'll send our new longer bolt that has a washer through there. Make sure there's nothing in the way of the hole. All right, those two are lined up, and then start to feel the threads catching there. So you see how that spacer works. Basically just, you know, putting a space between the factory coil spring You can't really see that lighting that well. Coil spring seat, and same concept with the ones that go on the top here. You're just putting a spacer in there, and you get a little bit of height from it. Everything works, you know, as advertised. But if you go too big, you'll run into issues with these being tight, and you can see, you know, factory lines like this. We should have disconnected this, but some stuff just starts getting maxed out, stretched out, your shocks and everything. So you don't want to go too high, but this 2.5 ought to work out. We'll let you know how it does. All right, we've got our new spacer installed. I believe it's 80 foot-pounds, what that gets tightened down to. And a couple other things are still loose. We'll have to get it rigged up. But obviously the sway bar is something that can hold this thing up, so make sure you take the sway bar nuts off. We were like, do we really have to do that? And yeah, you do. The axle won't come down far enough. So just a little tip there. Again, this is not a how-to video on a leveling kit, but I'm just showing you a little bit of the process to make this thing just right. We meant to do that. All right, what do you think?
Way better.
Yeah, she's leveled out. I was concerned it was going to be a little squatting. Thought it might be a little nose high, but it looks about right.
Level.
Yeah.
It'll look better on Tuesday.
Yeah, I was like 2.5. That's pretty high, but yeah, it's looking good. So it looks like we're liking this side a little bit better. Let me know what y'all think. We think it looks just a little bit more professional. This one's got kind of a lot going on with it. Some people might like that, but we're gonna go with this side, at least for now. We might change our mind. But let's take another look at this truck now that the leveling kit's on. It's not raining. So here's a look at the 2.5-inch leveling kit. The lighting's not great, but this thing's sitting up tall. Yeah, that's gonna look way better. What are these, Michelins down here? It's just factory stuff. So, what are they? Kumos. I don't even know what that is. Yeah, that'll look sharp. Welcome back, guys. We are at the local tire shop that mounted up my 33s on my Bronco. These are a 1350 wide tire on a stock 15-inch wheel with no lift. And I want to invite y'all while I'm at it to check out some of my playlists if you haven't seen them already. I have a playlist for each vehicle that's been on the channel. So I have an OBS Bronco playlist, and you can kind of see how this thing's transformed into the ultimate daily driver. It started off as an old green hunting truck, and it's a pretty sweet little rig here with a fresh paint job. Very happy with how it's turned out so far. A lot of work to do still. I also have a playlist about my 6.7 Powerstroke swap. Actually, 2 playlists. My dream truck kind of explains the idea, and my old 71 crew cab, and then the 6.7 swap playlist. So please check out some of my playlists for the different vehicles if you're new to the channel. Let's go see how these tires look as we're getting them mounted up. The first look at them. Now, I know we're being those guys that everybody hates where you're standing around watching people work on your truck, but these guys are cool. I've talked to them a few times, and they did the same thing with the Bronco. I stay out of their way and just take some videos, but this thing's gonna look awesome. Got the first one mounted up here. You can see there's still weight on the axle because they just have it jacked up by the diff, so that's pretty accurate for our clearance, and tons of room. It's gonna look great. Does fill it out pretty well being a 37, but it's not like crazy huge tire gonna scrub or anything. Should be just right. So the guys mounting these tires up said they've actually never seen these Recon Grapplers before. They're that new. I haven't seen any in the wild yet. I haven't seen anybody that's bought them locally, so it's pretty cool to see them for the first time, especially in this size. What do you think, dude?
It's pretty sweet.
I think they stick out like just enough, but it's not like crazy or anything.
Yeah, Yeah, so I got the 12 inches instead of the 13.
Yeah, it's not gonna like sling rocks or anything.
Yeah, that's what I was worried about. I'm not worried about the mud, but
Yeah. Yeah, that's good.
it'll look good.
The lighting is terrible, but it's sweet. So after talking it over about the PSI, I wanted to let them just put in whatever they were going to put in just to see how they ride from a normal tire shop. But the max it says on the sidewall is 65, so that's what they're putting in it. That's a ton of pressure for these big tires. So we're going to see if they ride like super hard and let some air out if we need to, but that should get you some great fuel mileage, but that might be a little bit too much for these. We'll see what happens. Before he lifts it up, you can see it's leaning. You can see how much we got some lift out of these 37s. You can see how much he needed to get it off the ground, and it's sitting level. We may have to do a little trimming here, and I'll show you all that. But it looks like just on the cloth wheel well liner. We'll see if we get into the bumper at all once we get this thing out of the shop.
Maybe a weight on it.
Oh, we're golden.
Hey, touch it.
That's awesome. We'll see how it does if it settles out any, but I think we're golden. That thing is sharp. What do y'all think? The first set of 37, 1250, 18 Recon Grapplers that I've ever seen on this 6.7 Powerstroke. I think it looks super clean. Really good fitment. Still very useful. Looks like it's not even gonna rub at all. We'll see if we have to cut that a little bit when you hit a bump or something. It might rub, but that is sharp. It's a nice look at how they stick out. Really flush with the body, honestly. It looks really clean with that 12.5 wide with the factory wheels. Not gonna be throwing rocks all over his paint or anything. Really nice. So to recap, 2.5 inch leveling kit, 37s, super clean on this 6.7 Powerstroke. Let me know in the comments if y'all have any questions. I've put 37s on a bunch of these trucks, and that's why I wanted to bring y'all this with these tires. It's kind of my, bread and butter of my YouTube channel is my 6.7 Powerstroke content. So we're gonna do some driving on these things, see how we like them, see what the noise is like. My buddy Wayne is paying for the install, and then we're gonna get these things on the road and see what kind of noise they make, and we'll do a first driving impression, just see the overall, ride quality, see if it does actually rub on the truck with these 37s. It's a big tire. These Ford wheel wells really swallow them up, but we're gonna go check this thing out, give you all our first impressions, and go from there. All right, we're all paid up. We're gonna go for the first ride, see how we like this thing. The old hunting truck's probably filthy in here. It's not too bad. I'm impressed. Only one spitter so far that I see. That's not bad. Oh yeah, we're gonna reset the trip and everything for y'all so that we can keep track of the mileage and show y'all how they're wearing and how many miles we put on them over time. So just so you all know, we got the 2 front windows down, and this is a brand new road, so it might have a little bit of noise. You want to do windows up actually? Got a lot of wind noise, so we'll roll those suckers up. What do you think?
It's pretty nice.
There's some, I can tell there's some tread there, but
it's not loud.
it's pretty quiet.
It's actually really quiet.
It almost sounds like it's making noise, but then it's like silenced. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yeah,
it sounds like a muffled sound.
Definitely doesn't sound like there's mud tires or even all-terrains on here.
Yeah, you can't even hear it. You probably hear the AC over anything else.
That was a little tread, but
Yeah, that sounds good.
the AC
And
blocks the noise
this
out.
brand new road is super like smooth, so you get a little bit more noise
It'll be
actually.
louder, yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if we hit another stretch of tarmac if it'll be a little bit quieter. I'm curious. Yeah, either way you want to go. You still feel it's peppy? It's a bigger tire. It might not
Yeah.
be quite as quick.
No, I mean, I can feel a little tiny bit delay, but it's not.
So we know the speedometer will be off a little bit too, being a bigger size, so we'll be going a little faster than indicated. But so we're at around 50 right now. This is the sound. Not much. Yeah, again, the AC is louder with it on like the lowest setting than the tires, so can't complain about that. Y'all let us know in the comments what you recommend for tire pressure on a 37 on a F250 like this, because I've actually been asked a few times what pressure, and I'm really not sure what the best pressure is with these bigger tires. I've typically just let it be with what the shop puts in, and it's always worked out fine, but I'm sure there is a perfect pressure for this setup. We're gonna try to find it for you, but in the meantime, y'all let me know what you suggest. We found a couple bumps. I don't think even with the high pressure that we're getting really thrown around too much. Might be all right.
Feel any different?
Yeah, how's it compare? I haven't ridden in this thing much with stocks.
Feels the same as with the stocks on it.
That's crazy. Seems very comparable to the stock tire size, and it's 37s. That's unbelievable. Yeah, driving in this is almost boring because it's no noise. There's nothing really to talk about. We're not getting thrown around. It feels like we're in a stock truck, even though they're 37-inch tall tires. So we'll take a couple more clips and wrap this video up. I think first impressions, these tires are killer. They look tough like the Ridge Grapplers, but maybe even a little quieter. It's a full-blown all-terrain, whereas the Ridge Grappler is supposed to be a hybrid, which is a little bit in between all-terrain and mud terrain. But I think they're just as aggressive, and you know, another option that's really quiet, just really sharp looking, that you can put tons of miles on and not worry about them wearing down really fast because of the way the tread is designed to be close together and quiet. Do a burnout. See, the tires are really not sticking out at all. Really clean, tucked in look. And again, no sound. Y'all can hear me talking just fine. I'm not really raising my voice. Let's see how this turn action is. I'm really surprised we're not hearing it scrub on the valence. I mean, on the wheel well
I
liner.
heard a little bit.
Yeah, when you turn that way. Yeah, there should be some. We'll take a closer look, but I'm really surprised these aren't rubbing like at least a little bit. All right, that's gonna wrap it up for this video. We're gonna follow up with some reviews of this thing as we put some miles on the tires. Obviously, he's gonna be driving back and forth to work with that thing, to his hunting camp and everything else. So a little bit of on and off road action. We'll see how they do, and I'll try to give you all the best idea of some real world use of these Recon Grapplers. I'm a big mud grappler guy, so I'm used to the loud tires, but man, I'm impressed with how quiet those things are, and they still look really tough. And he didn't want anything too crazy. I tried to talk him into something a little bit more aggressive, but that's what he wanted, and I'm glad we were able to help him out. It's great to have some friends in the area I can, you know, do truck stuff with, so stay tuned for a lot more of that truck, as well as my 6.7 project that's in the backyard all cut up in pieces. Thank y'all so much for watching, and be sure to check out Grappaholics on Instagram.